I posted it on the Am I the Idiot subreddit, but it got removed and my partner told me to post it here instead, so here it goes. Last Friday, I, 34-year-old male, went on the third round of interviews, which was generally the last one before I would be hired. It was a company I worked for before, but with new management. Overall, I had a good experience with that company before, so I thought, why not? It was with the people who would be my direct line manager, their direct manager, and the recruiter who approached me. During the interview, I was asked why I had a gap for 9 months in 2020 and was asked if it was due to infection 19. I just replied no. The recruiter asked me to elaborate, and I was visibly upset and answered that I needed time to grieve after the loss of my family. The person who would be my manager's manager just blatantly said, "The loss of a loved one doesn't justify a 9-month gap in your resume." I was trying extremely hard not to blow up and burst into tears. The reason I needed that much time was that 2 weeks before lockdowns came into effect, both my parents and my 2 siblings died in a car crash. A drunken truck driver ran a red light and hit my dad's car while they were heading home. I would have gone with them as well, were it not for the fact that my boyfriend lived 5 minutes away, and I was going to sleep at his place. Otherwise, I would have also been in that car. See it as a blessing and/or curse that I was not in that car. I was very candid with the manager in question and said very frankly and bluntly, "Perhaps losing one loved one doesn't warrant that long of a gap, but losing both my parents and my siblings at the same time in a car crash does." The room went dead quiet and it turned very, very awkward as no one knew what to answer to that. I said that I was sorry, but that I needed to leave. After the interview, the recruiter contacted me and said that my response was really uncalled for. My grandparents also said that it was not tactful at all for me to have said it like that, while my fiancé said it was good to have put them in their place, as a resume gap is none of their business. I'm questioning myself hard now. Am I the idiot for how I responded? Edit. Thank you all for the kind words. I've had an immense migraine attack and have been in bed all day, but I want to say thank you for all the support you guys have given me. I just want to take the time to clarify some things too. 1, I was approached by a recruiter as I did not apply for that job on my own. 2, I have a job at the moment, so I didn't need the other position, although it was a 30% pay increase. But I have said to the recruiter that I am withdrawing myself from the application after he said my reaction was uncalled for during the interview. 3, the gap in my resume had only been brought up during that interview, and not beforehand, unfortunately. It was also the first time someone had asked me about it, and it had taken me off guard. That's why I didn't have an answer on hand other than loss of loved ones, and it made me visibly uncomfortable. 4, 9 months was, in all honesty, not enough, and I wished I took more time to mourn my family. But unfortunately, my bills didn't pay themselves, and I've also become the legal guardian for my niece, as my youngest sister had her when she was 16. She passed when she was 23, and the father had written off all parental rights. 5, I am still in therapy for all this, and my fiancé has been my entire rock, especially when lockdowns came into effect and I couldn't rely on my friends or other family members. 6, I had said that it was because I was grieving the loss of family. I only answered more bluntly when the second manager gave me that answer that made my blood boil. To say that it is still an extremely sore and emotional subject is an understatement. Again, I want to thank everyone for the kind words and those who reached out to offer their condolences to me. It means a lot. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. What a terrible interviewer. They don't have the right to dictate how much you should grieve someone's death, and they had the audacity to suggest that your response was uncalled for. Tell the recruiter about their rude behavior and give negative feedback about your experience with the company. Comment 2, first, I'm so sorry for your loss. Second, honestly, in future job interviews, I would just say that it was due to the pandemic. Save yourself the heartache of having to speak about a personal tragedy and the danger of bursting into tears again. It's really none of their business, and the pandemic gives you the perfect excuse to avoid the subject. Now, for the update. Thanks for sticking with me. Here's what's been going down. So after all that mess with the interview, I thought I'd seen the last of that company. But nope, life had another curveball ready. My current boss, who's been like a mentor to me, called me into his office. He had this look, like he was about to drop some heavy news. Turns out the company I interviewed with, they're buying us out. And guess who they're sending over to oversee the transition? The same manager who made that insensitive comment about my family. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Not only do I have to see this guy's face every day, but now he's technically my boss's boss. It's like I can't escape him. But it gets worse. My mentor, my current boss, he knew about the buyout. He recommended me for the interview. He thought it would be a good opportunity for me to move up before the buyout became public. And he knew about my family, about my loss. He never said a word. I felt betrayed. Here I was, thinking he had my back, but he was just playing the game. It's like everyone's looking out for themselves, and I'm just a pawn on their chessboard. I can't even look at him the same way anymore. But I had to keep it together for my niece's sake. She's been through enough, and I can't let her see me fall apart. So I put on a brave face and dealt with it. I kept my head down and focused on my work, trying to ignore the new management hovering around. Then, another shocker. My fiancé, the one person I thought I could count on, he's been acting strange, distant. I didn't want to believe it, but I found messages on his phone. He's been talking to someone else, someone from his past, someone he said was just an old friend. But the messages, they weren't just friendly, they were intimate. I confronted him and he tried to brush it off, said it was nothing, that I was overreacting. But how can I trust him now? After everything I've been through, I thought our relationship was solid, unbreakable, but here we are and I'm questioning everything. It's like the ground's been pulled out from under me. My job's a mess, my personal life's in shambles, and I'm just trying to keep it together. I've been leaning on a couple of close friends, the ones who've stuck by me through everything. They've been my lifeline, reminding me that I'm not alone, even when it feels like it. And just when I thought things couldn't get any more complicated, the company announced layoffs. With the buyout, they're restructuring, and a lot of good people are getting the axe. I'm safe for now, but the atmosphere at work is tense. Everyone's on edge, wondering who's next. It's like we're all waiting for the other shoe to drop. Through all this, I've been trying to find some semblance of normalcy. I've been spending more time with my niece, trying to give her the stability she needs. And I've been going to therapy, working through the betrayal and the pain. It's not easy, but I'm trying to find a way forward. I guess the only silver lining is that the manager from the interview, he's been keeping his distance. Maybe he realized he crossed a line, or maybe he's just too busy with the transition. Either way, I'm grateful for the space. So that's where I'm at. Betrayed by my boss, my partner, and struggling to keep my head above water. But I'm still here, still fighting. Thanks for reading. My brother cut off our family over a petty grudge. So I host an annual dinner with a cake that screams, "You're dead to me now," and watched his girlfriend realize he's the problem. I, 40-plus-year-old male, have a brother, 34-year-old male, who is the second youngest of my siblings. He threw a fit a few years ago, announced that we were all dead to him, and traveled back home to the other side of the country. He hasn't spoken to any of us since then. Why are we dead to him? Because I told a story about a college friend of mine whom he has met, and how that college friend was reunited with his long-lost sister. This brother of mine has astounding control issues, and has a history of reacting verbally and throwing fits when someone knows something he didn't. He had been good enough friends with this particular college friend of mine that the two of them sometimes got lunch. While throwing his fit, he accused us of hiding news about family friends. We all tried reasoning with him, but he caught a taxi, and that was that. So we all blocked him on everything except for phone. If he wants to reach out, he has to do so by phone, forcing him to confront us directly if there will ever be a reconciliation. I'm not particularly open to a reconciliation at this point, though, as I have really just had enough of his constant attitude, whatever untreated mental disorder he has, his responsibility to deal with it. I spent 20 years encouraging him to get help, including offering to pay for it and provide logistics for it. I paid his college tuition only, gave him cars, etc. I didn't want him to struggle like I did when I was younger. We tolerated his control issues, theft, him attempting to engineer family drama, manipulation, constant lies, etc. It's been about 6 years now. On the anniversary of this every year, I host a big dinner at my home and invite the family, and each year I have a cake with something like, "You're dead to me now," written on it, usually surrounded by joyful-looking cake art. This year, my eldest nephew has a new girlfriend who he's serious about. She came over for the event for the first time. Her initial reaction was that we were being mean, but her opinion changed when we told her about how he destroyed my mother's engagement ring, destroyed some family heirlooms and other similar things over the years, and then how the catalyst was him freaking out about not knowing something about someone he had not spoken to in 5 years or so at that point. My opinion really is that he's been done with us for a long time since moving to Texas, and was just looking for any excuse to cut ties. He got what he could from us, and since we didn't fit a purpose yet, to be clear, meaning that nobody was giving him money anymore, he decided he didn't need us. So we were talking about it. I thought I was being rude about it and was happy about it. I felt this was one of those things in life where I'm entitled to be rude about how someone I had bent over backwards for, in life, treated our family and me. My little annual party was kind of my screw you too buddy response to his behavior. My sister, on the other hand, doesn't think I'm being rude at all about this, and that the little party, while not the kindest, is more of a family unity thing. How about it, Reddit? Am I the jerk? Point of clarification. He is not dead to me. We are dead to him. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. You're clearly an obnoxious person too. This is classic obnoxious behavior, especially for someone over 40. Your brother being a bigger jerk doesn't mean you aren't one. You both are. What you're doing isn't healing or helping. It's narcissistic. Again, you seem to be more like your brother than you want to admit. Comment 2. I just find it weird that you have dedicated an entire day to someone who doesn't care about you. My cousin, former best friend, is dead to me, and my family for that matter. I would never let that awful person live rent-free in my mind like this. Not the jerk, but dude, time to move on. Now for the update. Thanks for sticking around for the latest. So the annual You're Dead to Me dinner just happened, and boy did it take a turn no one expected. My sister, the one who always thought the dinner was about family unity, decided to drop a news right in the middle of dessert. Turns out she's been in touch with our estranged brother all these years. She's been feeding him updates about the family, including the details of this very dinner. The betrayal stung like a slap in the face. Here we were, thinking we were all on the same page, and she's been playing both sides. Why would she do that, you ask? She confessed that she felt guilty about how things went down. She believed he deserved a second chance, even if he didn't ask for one. She was the one who always saw the good in people, even when it wasn't there. But this was too much. The girlfriend of my nephew, the new one who thought we were mean at first, she was the first to speak up. She said that keeping secrets like that can tear a family apart. And she was right. The room went quiet. It was like everyone was seeing my sister for the first time. The next day, I found out that my brother had been using the information to play the victim card with his friends back in Texas. He told them we were holding these spiteful dinners, mocking him, while he was out there all alone. The truth was twisted and turned until it was unrecognizable. It made my blood boil. I had to take a step back and think about everything. I had been so focused on my own anger that I didn't see the whole picture. My sister's betrayal made me realize that maybe, just maybe, I had been too harsh. But then again, he never reached out, not even once. The family was in an uproar for days. Accusations flew, sides were taken. It was a mess. But in the end, we decided to confront my brother. We called him, all of us, on speakerphone. It was now or never. When he answered, there was silence at first. Then my sister spoke. She apologized for going behind our backs, but also for not standing up to him when she should have. She told him about the hurt he caused, the chaos he left in his wake. And you know what he did? He laughed. He said he didn't care that we were all pathetic for still being hung up on this. That was the moment I knew for sure that we were better off without him. The family is still healing from the shock. My sister is trying to make amends, but it's going to take time. As for my brother, well, he made his bed. The nephew's girlfriend? She's sticking around. She says we're a package deal, drama and all. Thanks for reading. My pregnant girlfriend punches me over a sandwich and plays the victim. But when I find her texts to her ex, I make sure she regrets ever raising her fist. Obviously using a throwaway for this. First of all, I know that hormones are crazy and all, but this took it too far. My girlfriend, 26 years old, is 6 months pregnant and is slowly turning into a monster. She openly admits to hating everything about me. My scent, the way I walk, and even the fact that a man like me is going to be a father. I researched this, and I know some of these traits are quite common with pregnant women, but the last part kind of stung. She told me that a month ago, and things haven't been the same since. I tried to lighten the mood several times, but she would always tell me to shut the frick up and leave her alone. Well, yesterday I was in the kitchen making myself a sandwich, and she walked in a few moments later. She asked me what I was making and why I didn't ask her if she wanted one. I apologized and told her that she keeps telling me to frick off if I even look at her. I then told her she could have mine since mine was already made, and I would make another one for myself. Well, while handing it over to her, I accidentally dropped the sandwich. I apologized and told her I would eat the one I dropped and I would make her a new one. When I bent down to pick it up, she literally gave me a freaking uppercut. I lost my balance and landed on the floor. It didn't hurt, but I was more confused than anything. She then started screaming at me how useless of a man I am, how she will never let me hold the baby because I'm a clumsy mess, etc. I'm still trying to comprehend whatever the frick just happened while on the floor, and when I sort of realized what she did, I lost it. I could excuse all the little jabs she made against me, but this, in my mind, took it too far. I freaking pay the bills, work 2 jobs to make sure we have what we need, and this is how I'm treated by the one person I call the love of my life. I just got up and told her to pack her things quickly. She again tried hitting me, but this time I saw it coming. I told her I'll call the cops if she doesn't leave. She is currently on probation. Half an hour later, she already had a small suitcase with most of her essentials and left. Literally, an hour after leaving, my phone was being bombarded with texts and calls from our mutual friends. They all told me to stop being a female genitalia and to cut her some slack since she's 6 months pregnant after all. They all believe since she's just a pregnant woman and I'm a man, she can't do me any harm. I personally believe I'm justified in kicking her out, and her recent behavior is beyond hurtful, but the overwhelming hate I've been getting from friends and family is making me double-guess myself. Am I the idiot here? To women who were pregnant, is this normal behavior? Am I justified in kicking her out and potentially breaking up with her? If not, how can I fix this mess? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. No, it's not normal, it's psychotic. Is she like that in public or with others, or is it only at home alone with you? If she behaves that way in public and towards others, then she's genuinely ill. But if she controls herself in public or with others, then she's just maxing out her pregnancy card as an excuse. Comment 2. You need to call the cops and make a report. Eviction laws can be really strict, and you may not have the right to throw her out without legal notice. Having a police report would protect you. Now for the update, thanks for the comments on my last post. I appreciate it, even though things have only gotten more complicated since then. So after the whole sandwich incident and her leaving, I thought I'd get some peace. But no, the universe had other plans. The next day, I found out she went to stay with her sister, who, by the way, has never liked me. Her sister called me screaming about how I abandoned a pregnant woman. She said my girlfriend was having health issues because of the stress I caused. I felt terrible, even though I knew I didn't do anything wrong. I went over there to talk and found my girlfriend crying. She said she was sorry and that she didn't mean any of it. She blamed the hormones and stress. I wanted to believe her, but something felt off. We talked for hours, and I agreed to let her come back home. I thought maybe we could start fresh. But when we got back, I found out she'd been lying about something huge. She had been texting her ex, the guy she told me was a closed chapter. I saw the messages by accident when she asked me to check her phone for her sister's call. They were planning to meet up the day she hit me. It was like a punch to the gut. I confronted her, and she broke down, saying it was just emotional support, that she felt alone. I didn't know what to believe. I was angry and hurt, but then she started having pains, real bad ones. We rushed to the hospital, and it turned out to be false labor, probably from all the stress. The doctors kept her overnight, and I stayed, feeling like a guard dog, making sure she was okay. The next day, her ex showed up at the hospital. He had the nerve to act like he was concerned. I lost it and told him to leave, that he had no right to be there. My girlfriend, still in the hospital bed, started crying, saying she didn't invite him, that he must have found out from her sister. It was a mess. The nurses had to come in and calm everyone down. After he left, she begged me to forgive her, to give her another chance. I was so confused. I didn't know what to do. I loved her, but could I trust her? I agreed to think about it, but I needed space to clear my head. I went home alone, and that's when I found the letter. It was from her, written a while back, talking about how she felt trapped, how she wasn't sure if she was ready to be a mom or if I was the right guy. It was like reading the thoughts of a stranger. I didn't know this person she was describing. I haven't told her I found the letter. I don't know if I can face her with it. I'm just sitting here, trying to piece together my life, wondering if I'm about to raise a child with someone who might not even want me or the baby. Thanks for reading. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.